Hello everyone. In this video, let us talk about helminth infections or infections caused by the members of ASCII-Helminthes members. Okay. So, in helminth infection, in your syllabus, you have some of the infections or the diseases which is given. So, the first one in that is ascariasis. The first one in that is ascariasis. See, ascariasis is a helminth infection where it is caused by a member what is called as Ascaris lumbricoides. Ascaris lumbricoides. So this is an organism where that causes ascariasis in human beings. Especially this is a pathogen or an organism, a parasitic organism that lives within the small intestine of human beings. Okay. And the infection is more common in developing areas, so wherever the population is rich and also poor sanitation is maintained. In such areas we can see the diseases, and also the children are majorly affected by this one, because the children, they tend to put almost whatever the things into their mouths, so hence there is chances of transfer of larvae or eggs into the children intestine. Okay, so majorly the disease that transmitted through the orophycal matter. It means it starts with the mouth, means by the infestation of the eggs or the larva into the mouth, thereby it will enter into enter into the digestive system, and in the digestive system, the egg will hatches, so where the larvae will come out and the adults will grown up and they lays many number of eggs. Similarly, the infections that start within the body, especially inside the intestine. And this parasitic organism that feeds upon the food that is found inside the intestine, a dissolved food found inside the intestine. That's why it develops a very poor digestive system, because no need of developing complex digestive system here, because as it is absorbing the digested food which is available in the small intestine. Okay, hence especially the children are more prone to this disease. The major condition is poor sanitation or poor sanitary conditions. By that the diseases will spread. Okay, and this Ascaris lumbricoides is what is known as commonly called as roundworm. It is commonly known as a roundworm because of the nature of its body, and where it exhibits sexual dimorphism. It exhibits sexual dimorphism. Sexual dimorphism means where the two sexes, male and female sexes, are morphologically distinct. Two morphologically distinct sexes can be seen here. Usually females will be longer than the males. Female worms will be longer than males, and males are shorter. Here males are shorter than females, and usually females are longer. So this is what is called as sexual dimorphism. It means two morphologically different sexes can be observed. Female will be longer and males will be shorter. Okay. So as I said, the disease that begins from orophycal matter. It starts with the mouth, and where the live worms are eliminated in the feces, or the eggs were eliminated in the feces, or the larval forms will be eliminated in the feces. Hence the disease that spreads from orophycal matter. Okay. So some of the common symptoms of this disease, some common symptoms of the disease is like common symptoms characterized by fever. In severe infections, so where we can see distension of the abdomen, abdominal distension. Abdominal distension means the swelling of the abdomen, distension of the abdomen or abdominal distension, swelling of the abdomen, that is mainly due to the accumulation of worms inside the intestine. So where the abdomen region that swells up. Okay. So fever, that is one of the common symptoms, then distension of the abdomen, then pain in stomach region or pain in the abdominal region, that is due to the accumulation of worms in the intestine. Okay, and sometimes the blockage of the intestine. So due to more number of worms inside the intestine, the intestine get blockage of the intestine. Okay, blockage of intestine. So this is also one of the symptom of ascariasis. So sometimes it may be due to this, there will be nausea, or you can see vomiting. Okay, and another thing, poor growth is observed in children, especially in children, so poor growth will be observed, and the infection symptom that indicates patches in the face, some white patches that can be seen in the face, so that may indicate the helminth infection or the infection of Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay, so like nausea, vomiting, or poor growth that can be seen in infants, especially poor growth, because the parasite or the worm that is found inside the intestine, that start absorbing the nutrition. So where the children, they may suffer from malnutrition, or they won't get sufficient amount of nutrition as the worms are absorbing the nutrients which are digested. Okay. So a female worm that can nearly lay up to 15,000 eggs per day. Female worm that nearly lays up to 15,000 eggs per day. 15,000 eggs per day during its reproductive period. During its reproductive period, a single female worm that can lay nearly up to 15,000 eggs per day. You think about the number of worms, the possibilities of number of worms formed inside the intestine. And the eggs as well as the smaller worms, the eggs as well as the smaller worms can be seen in feces. They will be eliminated in feces. Okay, so one of the most common identification of the Ascariasis disease is the identification of worms in feces. The smaller worms, they will be eliminated in the feces, and also the eggs will be eliminated in the feces. The major transmission is through, as I said, poor hygienic conditions. So wherever, if there is no proper disposal of the human excreta, then there is a chances of transmission of Ascariasis, because the worm, the eggs or the larval forms, if they enter into the human body, so where they start maturing, the eggs will hatch, and the larval forms, they start maturing, and they become the adult. They lay many number of eggs inside the intestine, many number of worms are produced. So in severe cases of infection, surgery is required, because when the worm number is increased inside the intestine, it is not possible to kill them by means of the medication. In such cases, the surgery will be done to remove the worms from the body. Okay. So the main thing is to proper management of the human excreta, and also wherever the regions where the human excreta is used as a manure, in such crops, there will be chances of infection. If we consume such crops or such foods which are grown, or such crops which are grown by using human manure, human excreta as a manure, so without proper sanitation or without proper washing them, so then chances of getting the infection is more. Okay. So this is about the symptoms and mode of transmission of the infection and the causative organism of the Ascariasis, that is Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay. So this is one helminth infection. Then the next one is, in helminth infection, the next thing is elephantiasis or filariasis. Filariasis or elephantiasis. Filariasis or elephantiasis. Okay. So filariasis or elephantiasis is a helminth infection that is caused by an organism, a pathogen, what is regarded as Wuchereria bancrofti. Wuchereria bancrofti. So this is a worm, a helminth, that causes the disease what is called as filariasis or elephantiasis. This is caused by a helminth what is regarded as Wuchereria bancrofti. So this is also known as Wuchereria malai. The other species like Wuchereria malai. So this also causes the filariasis or elephantiasis. Commonly it is known as Anekalu roga in Kannada. Kannadalli ನಾವು ಏನಂತೀವಿ ಆನೆಕಾಲು ರೋಗ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ. Mainly the disease is characterized by the swelling of lymphatic nodes and lymphatic vessels, especially the lower extremities of the body. The lower extremities of the body means the lower parts of the body, especially the limbs and the lower regions of the body. Like in case of males, there will be swelling of scrotum that can be seen in the lower region. The scrotum, they get swells up, and the lymphatic vessels and the lymphatic ducts, they get swells up because of the accumulation of fluid in the body. The lower extremities of the body, they are the major targets of this one, that is filariasis or elephantiasis. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಆನೆಕಾಲು ರೋಗ ಅಂತ ಕರೆಯೋದು. ಯಾಕೆ ಲಿಂಬ್ಸ್ ಸ್ವೆಲ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಅಷ್ಟು ಲಾರ್ಜರ್ ಸೈಜ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲಿಂಬ್ಸ್ ಸ್ವೆಲ್ ಆಗೋದ್ರಿಂದ ಆನೆಕಾಲು ರೋಗ ಅಥವಾ ಎಲಿಫ್ಯಾಂಟಿಯಾಸಿಸ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ನೇಮ್ ಬಂದಿದೆ. Filariasis, it is named as because it is caused by filarial worm. Filarial worm is nothing but the Wuchereria bancrofti. This is known as a filarial worm. Hence the disease is also known as filariasis. And this is a mosquito-borne disease. It mainly spreads through the mosquitoes. Okay. So mosquitoes like Culex, it mainly spreads through the mosquito. The mosquitoes like Culex, this is a major one. So where the female mosquitoes that will carry the larval stages or the juvenile stages of this worm, that is what is called filarial worm or Wuchereria bancrofti. So this Culex mosquito, this is a vector. This can act as a vector. So where it transmits the disease from one person to another person, from the infected person to the healthy person. So where the disease is transmitted by Culex mosquito, and the less chances of transmission by are in a very low rate of transmission that can be seen in Anopheles as well as in Aedes mosquito. So in Aedes as well as in Anopheles mosquito, the less chances of transmission of this worm, filarial worm, that can be seen, but it is more transmitted by the mosquitoes like Culex. So where it carries a larval stages like microfilariae, and these microfilariae will be transmitted to the other person, so where it will infect the other human being. Okay. So the major vector here is the Culex mosquito. It is a mosquito-borne disorder and caused by a organism what is called as Wuchereria bancrofti. So this is a major organism that causes elephantiasis or filariasis. The disease, as I said, it is majorly characterized by swelling of lymphatic vessels and lymphatic ducts and the connective tissues, and especially it affects the lower extremities of the body. Okay. So usually this filariasis worm, it requires two hosts to complete its life cycle. So hence it is also a digenetic parasite. So one is a man, another one is a mosquito. So where in man it produces a larva, it completes a sexual life cycle and it produces a larval stages. And the larval stages will be picked up by the mosquito, and where in the mosquito the larval stages are the juvenile phase it completed. It means from the stage 1 it completes the stage 2 and stage 3 in the mosquito. Thereafter it is ready to infect another human being. Okay. So during what happens when in case of filariasis or in elephantiasis, the worm Wuchereria bancrofti that enters into the body and especially that target the lymphatic vessels and lymphatic nodes. So where inside the lymph vessels it starts reproducing, and once it reproduces, it produces the eggs, and eggs will hatches and produces the larval stages. That is, those larval stages are what is called as microfilariae. So these are the larval forms of the juvenile phase. This is what is called as the juvenile phase. So these juvenile phase, one of the characteristic thing or a unique feature here, and these microfilariae, they start to come up to the peripheral blood vessels, okay, or to the peripheral regions of the body during the night, especially at the timings during from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m. They come up to the peripheral blood vessels. Thereby, it makes easier for them to pick it up by the mosquito. So microfilariae, they start moving from the lymphatic vessels into the peripheral blood vessels, means to the nearer surface, upper surfaces of the body, that is just beneath the skin, just beneath the tissue. So where they come up during the night at the peripheral regions, it will be easier for them to pick it up by the Culex mosquitoes. Once a mosquito bites, it punctures the skin and it bites, it sucks the blood. At that time, the microfilariae will enter into the mosquito body. Especially during the night, they migrate from the lymphatic nodes, from the lymphatic vessels. They migrate to the peripheral blood vessels. So by that, when the mosquito bite, the microfilariae will be picked up by the mosquito along with the human blood. So where in the mosquito it completes from the stage 1, this is in human body it produces stage 1, and in mosquito it completes stage 2, juvenile phase stage 2 and stage 3. So they will be completed in mosquito body, stage 2 and stage 3. So where again they are ready to infect the human being. Again, once the Culex mosquito, the Culex, once it bites the healthy person along with these microfilariae or the juvenile phase of Wuchereria bancrofti, so where it injects the microfilariae at the stage 3 into human blood. So where from the bloodstream they enter into the lymphatic vessels. So they enter into lymph nodes. From that they transfer to the lymph vessels where they start copulating. They start maturing, they start copulating. Copulating means they start mating, means reproduction. So where the number will increases inside the lymphatic vessels. So majorly it blocks obstruction. It causes the obstruction of lymphatic vessels because of its growth. Because of their increase in number, it causes obstruction. Obstruction andre katkododu anta, andre block agodu. Lymph vessels enagutte block aagta hogutte in the particular areas wherever they affect. Okay, that is what is called as obstruction. So these obstruction that results in or hindrance the flow of the lymph inside the lymphatic vessels. Lymph flow agade enagutte. Lymph is nothing but the colorless fluid, that is flowing inside the lymphatic vessel, that mainly consists of lymphocytes in the body. So where once the lymphatic vessels get obstructed, the lymph start accumulating in those regions. ಯಾವ regions ಅಲ್ಲಿ obstruction ಆಗಿರುತ್ತೋ ಆ regions ಅಲ್ಲಿ lymph ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ accumulation ಆಗ್ತಾ ಹೋಗುತ್ತೆ. That start accumulating inside the lymphatic vessels, and where the lymph will accumulates in those regions and causes a swelling of the particular organs which is affected, especially the lower extremities of the body, the lower regions, the limbs, and as well as the scrotum in case of males, where there will be enormous swelling of scrotum can be seen, okay, and swelling of the limbs can be seen, and in case of females there may be swelling of breast also if females are affected, okay. Hence that is mainly due to the obstruction of lymph vessels, and also these animals, they accumulate inside the connective tissue. They accumulate inside the connective tissue and causing them to swell or causing their inflammation. Inflammation is nothing but the swelling. That's why, because of enormous swelling of the body parts, the disease is what is called as elephantiasis. Okay, so these are the major symptoms of this disease: swelling of lymph, accumulation in the lymph vessels and the lymphatic ducts. So where, because of the obstruction caused by them, so where the lymph start accumulating in the body parts wherever the obstruction is, so hence causing the swelling of such body parts. Okay, so that is a major symptom of this disease. So as I said, how it will be detected in the body. So that is usually by the examination of the lower surface of the dermis. Dermis means lower surface of the skin. So the parasite can be examined. It will give a positive test for in the lower dermis. It means in the lower surface of the skin. As they move to the peripheral regions, peripheral blood vessels, peripheral region ke move agodrinda, especially during the night time, so in the lower surface of the dermis means the skin, so where the parasite will give it means the test will give positive for the presence of the parasite. And also the detection of blood in the night, okay, blood determination or blood detection or blood test during the night, that also gives a positive test, because in the night time only the microfilariae, they moves to the peripheral blood vessels. It will be easier for pick them by the mosquitoes. Hence in the night the positive test will be done by using the blood samples, okay, by taking the blood samples from the peripheral vessels. It will give the positive test for the microfilariae, okay. And in the early stages of the infection, eosinophils, their number will increases in the blood, okay, one of the components of white blood cells, so their number will increases in the early stages of the infection. And the obstruction, the swelling of the lymph nodes can be seen. Lymph nodes, they get this swell. Lymph nodes, swelling of lymph nodes can be seen in the early stages of the infection, but later on followed by asymptomatic condition. In the second stage there will be an asymptomatic condition can be seen. It means it do not show any kind of symptom in the second stage, but the third stage is characterized by, and the final stages are characterized by, enormous swelling of the lymph vessels and the lymph nodes, causes the swelling of particular body organs which are affected, okay. And nearly the pathogen that nearly takes up to 5 to 18 months, okay, to show the symptoms, the incubation period, okay. So some of them, in some person the symptoms may appear in 5 months or 8 months, or it may prolonged in some persons, but the symptoms they may show, they will show after the completion of the incubation period. Incubation period completion ಆದಮೇಲೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಶೋ ಆಗಕ್ಕೆ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಕೆಲವರಲ್ಲಿ ಅರ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ತೋರಿಸಬಹುದು, ಕೆಲವರಲ್ಲಿ ಸಿಂಪ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಾಗಬಹುದು, ಡಿಲೇ ಆಗಬಹುದು. ದಟ್ ಡಿಪೆಂಡ್ಸ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಮ್ಯುನಿಟಿ, ದೇರ್ ರೆಸಿಸ್ಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಪವರ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಬಾಡಿ, ಓಕೆ. So this is about the symptoms. Then in severe cases of the infection, whenever the body parts are swollen, so where they will be recovered by means of surgery, okay, so they can be recovered by means of surgery, and other medications can be used to treat the helminth infections or the elephantiasis, okay. So this is about the symptoms, the causative agent, and the mode of transmission of the disease, and the life cycle of the Wuchereria bancrofti or Wuchereria malai or filarial worm, okay. So this completes the helminth infections, okay. Then the next kind of infection is the only one which is given in your syllabus, that is fungal diseases, some common fungal infections in human body. Fungal infection. So what is fungi? Fungi are nothing but the achlorophyllous heterotrophic organisms. They usually thrives or survives in the moist, shady places. okay, or in the they typically they prefer the shady places. So there are many number of fungi which causes various infections in human beings. Okay, as they are the parasitic organism, so not only they are parasite, they are pathogens also there. There are saprophytic organisms are also there. But some of the fungi they tend to cause infections in humans as well as in other animals, in plants. Okay, so they cause various diseases or various infections. So among this, one of the disease, one of the common disease which is given, that is ringworm. It's not roundworm. Don't get confused with roundworm. Roundworm is a common name for Ascaris. Here the disease is what is called as ringworm. So it is named as ringworm mainly because the patches, because of the characteristic patches it produces once it infects the human beings. It produces characteristic patches. The roundish and reddish scalpy patches are seen. So the rough patches that can be seen are produced in the skin surfaces or in the scalp region. So hence it was named as a ringworm. So as it produces patches in ring form, round patches that can be produced. Hence it was named as a ringworm. And earlier it was thought that as a worm infestation or a worm infection. ಇದನ್ನ ಮುಂಚೆ worm infection ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ರು. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇದನ್ನ ringworm ಅನ್ನೋ ನೇಮನ್ನ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Because of the characteristic patch it produces on the skin surface, especially it targets the hairs, the scalp in the hairs, scalp in the head and the neck region. Okay, so then the pubic region, the growing region means the regions at the pubic regions. So along the sides of the testicles or along the sides of the pubic area. So where this infects and produces the patches. Okay, hence it was known as the ringworm. And also it affects the nails. It also affects the nail beds. Okay, so majorly the disease is caused by the fungus what is called as Trichophyton rubrum. It is caused by the fungus what is called as Trichophyton rubrum, or it is also known as Taenia. The fungus is also known as Taenia or Microsporium. Fungus is also known as Taenia or Microsporium. So based on the part it affects, it may affect the foot region. So in such cases it is what is known as Taenia pedis. Taenia pedis. Suppose if it affects the foot region affect ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಅದನ್ನ Taenia pedis ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. So commonly it is known as athlete's foot. Common ಆಗಿ athlete's foot ಅಂತ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. This is what is called as commonly athlete's foot. Commonly it is regarded as athlete's foot. Okay. So similarly it may affect the scalp. It may affect the scalp, means in the head region, especially in the hairs, it may affect the scalp. So where the skin region, especially targets the skin and the other related tissues which are found on the surface of the body. So where it will create the patches, the dry, reddish and itchy patches can be produced. Dry, reddish and itchy patches that are produced by the infection of the fungus, where it eats up the tissues which are found in that particular area wherever it affects. Okay, so similarly it may even affects in the face also. Okay, so the symptoms are characterized by the patches, formation of patches which are dry and scalpy, and also it creates itching and the redness of the patches that can be seen. So these are the symptoms of the ringworm. Okay, so and the symptoms can be subsided and the disease can be subsided by using antifungal creams. Okay, there are many number of antifungal creams which are available in the market. By using them, so the disease can be avoided or the disease can be subsided. Okay, so this is about the ringworm. Majorly it is a fungal disease of the skin. It does not affect the internal parts of the body. It affects only the peripheral part, especially it targets the skin and the nail. Okay, the Trichophyton rubrum is a causative agent. It is also known as Taenia or it is also known as Microsporium. So this is about the symptoms of and how it will spread from one person to another person. It mainly spreads through the close contact between the person who is infected and also by using the comb which is used by the infected person. Suppose if they are having the Taenia capitis. Taenia capitis means where the infection in the head. Okay, Taenia capitis. Infection in the head, Taenia capitis. So in such cases, if we share the comb, so where the transmission of disease is more, because the fungal spores will transmit it from one person to another person. If you share the cloth also, cloths used by the infected person, so then the disease will spread to other person also, or with a very close contact, skin to skin contact. In such cases also the fungal spores will be transmitted to another person. Okay, it is not a dangerous disease. It can be cured by using some antifungal creams. Okay, so this is about the mode of transmission. Then the symptoms of the ringworm. Okay, this is also called as tinea. Okay. So then the next thing and the important thing in this chapter, so where we have completed the diseases, like we have completed the bacterial diseases, viral diseases, the protozoan diseases, and the helminth diseases, and the diseases which are caused by the fungi. Okay, so in the next video we will discuss about the immunity and immune system of the body, different components of immune system. Okay, thank you.